I love my job. And I love it because I am doing things that help people. I'm Margaret, I'm a virtual organizer, and over 20 years I have been a professional organizer helping people get rid of stuff and stress that makes life really, really rotten. I do that now virtually so I can help people all over the US, and it lets me do one of my favorite things, which is teaching. Teaching what's clutter, what makes it that way, what to do about it, how to keep it from coming back, how to work with the people in your household. And one of the things that's really fun about it is no two jobs, no two clients are ever alike. And so sometimes I get to be particularly creative. So I wanted to share just a few ideas here on sort of thinking outside the box, but give you maybe some ideas for your own home, but also encourage you that if that's not how your brain works, that's not your superpower, it's okay. It's my superpower. I can help you. So one home that I was working in, this is some years ago, there were small children in the home. They were middle elementary type age. And this client was very committed to not buying more stuff. It wasn't even a money problem. They just didn't want more stuff in their home. And so one of the things I noticed is there was a, I think it was about 4 foot tall bookshelf that really wasn't being used. And so I'm looking at that and I said, if we turn that on its side, so it's no longer horizontal shelves, but it's now vertical columns, that could be a cubby for the kids, and there were 3 kids in the family. That could be a cubby for their stuff. And sure enough, it worked perfectly. We screwed some coat hooks on the sides and they could put their little coats in. They could put their little shoes and boots at the bottom. And it worked really, really well for just that outerwear stuff. So taking a bookshelf, thinking about it differently rather than going this way, it went that way and made 3 little cubbies. Worked perfectly. Another home, and this is probably not what most people have in their home, but you probably have something like this. This home has a trash compactor. House was built back in the 60s, and apparently that was a big deal. I don't know. Anyways, these homeowners used that trash compactor and found it to be not a really great option for them. They didn't want to do that. So what they did, and it's the kind of thing where you pushed a pedal and the drawer opened and you would put your stuff in and eventually compact it. Instead of doing it using it for that purpose, they put a paper bag in it and it holds their recycling. So they have one wastebasket out in the kitchen area, but they don't have to have a separate receptacle for recycling. It's hidden, it's just in this trash compactor. They don't compact the recycling, that wouldn't work, but it just holds it, and then when it gets full, the sack gets full, they take it to the trash can. Another idea, and this is one I suggested very recently, and it's, I told the client, I said, hey, I have never, in all my years of doing this, heard myself say this, but I'm going to say it now. It's not for everybody, but I think this is going to be a good suggestion for you. And the situation with this particular client is she has ADD. And so for her, that means that if it's not visual, it doesn't exist. It also means that having one place that everything must go into doesn't work well for her. But she does work well with having things in categories or zones. She does work well with having things out and about. So she also, in this room that we were working on, which was really just kind of her den, her room, and had a little desk in it, but mostly it was just for her reading and just doing her own stuff. She also had a lot of chairs, and they think like a table chair, but different varieties from different sets and things. And so I said, how about if we line the room with those chairs? Each chair can hold a category of things. So she is studying French, so all her French books were on one chair. She's a music teacher, so she had music on another chair. And each chair had something separate and unique on it. It created boundaries for her so that if her music, let's say, exceeded that chair, it was time to do something different. But it also meant that she could get to it easily, she could put it down easily, she could see it. Everything felt good about it. So it actually ended up looking really, really, really cute when it was done, because each chair was kind of a unique little wooden chair and looked different. So is that something that everybody should do? Absolutely not. But for her room, her space, her way of operating, it made a lot of sense and it worked really, really well. I'm going to circle back. My favorite thing to do is to go through your home with you, ask you questions and help you see things that you've never looked at it that way. You haven't looked at the bookshelf turned upside or on its side. You haven't looked at a trash compactor to hold recycling, and probably certainly aren't lining your rooms with chairs, I hope. But there are things that you can do in your home that are out of the box and yet are going to work really well for you. So if that's something you can do on your own, knock yourself out and enjoy, because it's a lot of fun looking at things differently. If it's something I can help with, click the link in my bio. I love to help.